If you have a wedding or an event that's going to be outside, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this video. If you're a florist like me, here's some tips that you can use to prevent your flowers from wilting faster. Hey everyone, I'm Alexis and welcome back to my Florist YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to keep your flowers alive during this summer heat wave, because when I tell you, I live in Pennsylvania and it's been like 100 degrees every single day. So let's get into it. Let me tell you how to keep your flowers alive. If you've ever done a wedding in July or August, you know that the heat is no joke. Flowers wilt, brides panic, and centerpieces literally melt like ice cream if you're not prepared properly. So I'm sharing everything that I've learned from one florist to another to keep your flowers for surviving in this summer heat. Soak your flower stems. And I don't just mean soak them in water for like 30 minutes before your event. I mean soak them for hours. I recommend to soak them for at least 24 to 48 hours before your event. The goal is to make your flowers maximum hydrated. You want them to have drank as much water as they need so that way they can survive for longer periods of time. If you buy the flowers that same morning, stick them in water, go to your event, they're probably gonna die. They're gonna need a lot of time to soak up as much water as they can if you plan on them being outside all day long. They need hydration. Remember to cut your stems and put them in fresh water before you go to use them. If you don't cut your stems, your flowers are not going to be able to drink the water properly. The stem is blocked and all hard, and it's not allowing any water to like actually be drank and go through the stems. So you're always going to want to make sure that you give your flowers a fresh cut so that way they are getting as much water as they can. And then you're gonna place those flowers in cold water, not warm water, not super hot water, but the coldest water that you can find. This is gonna help them keep tighter and fresher and stay better for longer. Now, speaking of keeping flowers cool, you're gonna wanna make sure that you store your fresh cut flowers in the coldest room you have possible. Now, if you're like a normal person like me, you probably don't have a flower cooler. And that's totally fine. If you don't have a cooler, no biggie, but what you are gonna wanna do is turn on your air conditioner to the lowest setting, close the door, close the curtains. You wanna make sure that this is a dark, cold room, and your flowers should thrive in this environment. Flowers like to be kept cold. This helps with the blooming process, and this is going to help with the longevity of your flower life. Now, for years, I was actually telling my floral clients to put your flowers in the refrigerator with your fruits and veggies and just like your regular fridge that you have at home. But I recently learned that you do not want to put your flowers in your refrigerator because the fruits and veggies release the ethylene gas, and that actually kills your flowers much faster. So whatever you do, make sure you don't place your flowers in the refrigerator that you store your food in, but just like in a cold room away from the sunlight, away from the window. Close the windows, close the curtains, do whatever you gotta do. Just make sure that it is a cold, dark room. I would also choose heat-friendly flowers. Not all flowers do well in the direct heat and sunlight. For example, hydrangea, they do terrible in the direct heat and sunlight. Roses, lisianthus, things like that, they just die really fast in the direct sunlight. So what I recommend you do is use flowers that grow in the sunlight and are grown outside. For example, zinnias do great outside. Amaranthus, that lasts really long outside. Cosmos do really well. I would save those roses and hydrangea for your inside table centerpieces that are gonna be in direct water. But I would not opt to use those flowers outside in the sun. They will die fast. I also recommend that you use a flower sealant spray like Crown and Glory. This stuff is really great. If you spray it on your flowers, it'll lock in the moisture and it gives it like a protective coating on the outside of the flowers that is gonna help keep the color, the shape, and prevent it from wilting faster. So I definitely recommend to use Crown and Glory. I have an entire video of me using this. There's two types out there. There's Crown and Glory, and then there's also finishing touch spray. They're both used for different things, but in all honesty, I really just use this for just about everything that I use. So if you're looking for like a good flower sealant spray, I recommend to use Crowning Glory. You're gonna wanna spray this on like all of your arrangements, like give everything a nice, and that should help with the longevity of your flowers. If you're making any flower pieces that are gonna go outdoors, like arches, aisle centerpieces, you're gonna wanna make sure that your floral foam is soaked to the max, and that you also wrap it up in plastic to help lock in the water and moisture inside of the floral foam. I recently just started doing this, and I noticed that the flowers lasted a whole lot longer. And it's because when you wrap it up in plastic, it keeps all of the moisture and prevents all of the water from evaporating from the foam itself. Make sure the plastic isn't too thick, because you're gonna wanna make sure you can actually insert the stems into the foam still. But just like regular saran wrap should just do the job. Now, you usually only need about 20 minutes to let your floral foam bricks soak in the water, but whenever I'm doing an outdoor event, I like to just throw my bricks in the night before, let them soak for hours, 8 hours. This just gives me peace of mind. You really don't have to do this, but like, I'm a crazy person and I'm gonna be thinking about it at night if the bricks aren't soaked properly. I hate when you cut open a brick of floral foam and it's like that line of just like dry foam. Like, it kills me. So just soak your foam for hours before you plan on using it. That should help. The sun is going to cook your flowers like a rotisserie chicken, which is why the timeline in which you lay out your flowers matters so much. So if your ceremony is at 3 o'clock, you're gonna wanna make sure you install the ceremony at like 2:30. You wanna make sure that your flowers aren't gonna be in direct sunlight for a long period of time. What I would not do, because usually when I'm setting up a wedding and event, I set it up in the order in which it happens. So I set up the ceremony first, cocktail hour, then reception. But when you're doing an event that's outside in the heat in like 100 degrees, set up your ceremony last. I know it's scary, I know it's daunting, like, it's definitely scary to like feel people coming into the ceremony and you're still setting up. Like, that's not good. But what's worse is having your bride have dead flowers in her photos. So I would wait till the absolute last second possible to actually set up your wedding flowers. I would keep the flowers that you plan on having outside like nearby in a cold room inside, so that way you can quickly just put them on a cart, run outside, set them, and leave. Do your best, try your best. I believe in you. Whenever I have an outdoor wedding that's gonna be like in direct sunlight all day and it's gonna be hot, I always recommend to bring extra flowers with you. That way, if your flowers do end up dying through the event, you know, you can replace them. Particularly if you're going from ceremony to reception and those ceremony flowers were like in the heat for 40 minutes while you guys were saying your vows. It's time to do the turn and you have to take those ceremony flowers to the reception. I do recommend to bring extra blooms. Now, extra blooms means extra money. So when you are doing this, make sure that you are charging your clients properly, so that way you are covered for those extra replacement stems. You definitely just don't want to like eat the costs. You always want to make sure that you are pricing and planning accordingly. In addition to bringing extra flowers, I also bring the Crowning Glory spray with me. I'll bring a water bottle, spray bottle, so I can just like spray my flowers, spray it with this. I feel like doing those two combinations really do help. Anything you can do to make your flowers last longer, I would just do it. Especially in this heat, like you just don't want to get a bad review. Now, this next tip is for my brides. Please, 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 please don't leave your bridal bouquet in the hot car. I don't care if you're just going upstairs really quick, it's not fast enough. Okay guys, like if it's 100 degrees outside, it's 125 degrees in your car. Just a few minutes in a hot car alone will really wilt and kill your flowers completely. So please, if you're going inside, if you're running errands that day, make sure you're picking up the bouquet last. Like, let that be the last thing you do. But don't go pick up the bouquet, go grocery shopping, pick up your dog from daycare. Like, your flowers are gonna be dead, okay? That's just, it is what it is. But if you can just do that last, you should be in good standing. What I usually recommend my brides do is that I'll find the maid of honor or just someone that I can trust. I will give them the bridal bouquet and a vase full of water. And I tell them, like, in between pictures, make sure you're taking this bouquet and you're putting it in water, because not every picture you're gonna need the bouquet for. So in between shots and in between those like moments where you're just relaxing, make sure your bouquet is continuing to be hydrated throughout that process. That will really help with your flowers overall. So those are my tips to keep your flowers lasting longer in this summer heat. Weddings are already stressful enough. You do not need the flowers dying and wilting to add to that stress. If you enjoyed today's flower video, give this video a thumbs up, comment and subscribe so you can get more content like this. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at flowersbyalexis, and I will see you all soon with another video. Bye.